The Shark Deck.
Hey, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Jesus Nice is just not going to get the Daily Show. One of the jokes that I saw was Martin Scorsese's out here making movies that last longer than speaker candidates. And I was like, oh, really? So I don't usually do this. Let me play a clip just so you don't think I'm piling on. Listen to this.
Let's kick things off in Congress, where today Republicans were once again trying to pick a new speaker after Kevin McCarthy was kicked out and Steve Scalise failed and Jim Jordan also failed. And then today they nominated some poor bastard named Tom Emmerich. And this dude was their nominee for 4 hours. And then he dropped out. Martin Scorsese is out here making movies that last longer than speaker candidates. If you saw it this afternoon, you missed this dude's entire nomination.
It's just not good. It's not going to be good enough. All right. Chris Rock, Adam Sandler, Amy Schumer, and others will appear at Next for Autism's annual Night of Too Many Stars comedy concert December 11th, Beacon Theater, New York City. Also on the bill, Rachel Bloom, Stephen Colbert, Ron Funches, James Austin Johnson, he seems to be in the Cool Kids Club right now, Jon Stewart, and the cast of How to Dance in Ohio. The event was created by Robert Smigel. You may know him as the voice of Triumph, the Insults Comic Dog, and others. Tickets start at $134.55 and go on sale tomorrow at 11 a.m. Ticketmaster. Another show announced, pretty cool. The National Coalition Against Censorship, in partnership with the New York Comedy Festival, has announced Stand Up for Free Speech, hosted by Judy Gold. This one, $30, and the lineup's also pretty good. Mark Normand, Adrienne Lapalucci, Matteo Lane, Yamaneika Saunders, Rich Voss, and more. Stand Up for Free Speech, November 6th, 9:30 at Gotham in New York City. We have an official date for Matt Rife's Natural Selection. Netflix says that will be out November 15th. By the way, I was listening to Matt Rife was the guest on Two Bears, One Cave. Tom Segura was hosting that one. It's really good. Rife comes along as very likable. I haven't finished it yet. I'm running a transcript on it. I'm going to pick away at that. I want to listen to the whole thing before I go through the transcript and pull stuff out, but really good listen there. In a teaser, Matt Rife says he can't stand social media. The official description says, from his problem with protection crystals to his beef with social media trolls, comedian Matt Rife holds nothing back in this rollicking stand-up special. Matt Rife, Natural Selection, Netflix, November 15th. Ronny Chieng has announced a tour. It'll start January 12th in Indianapolis and hit Cincinnati, New York, Philly, and, quote, other great cities. Tickets on sale Friday. In the not-too-distant future, Mystery Science Theater 3000 will return. Mystery Science Theater turns 35 this year, not counting the KTMA years. Joel Hodgson announced that financing for Season 14 has begun. After the 2 revival seasons on Netflix, MST3K is now doing its own thing. They have the Gizmoplex, an online viewing and community hub that hosted the crowdfunded Season 13, which raised $6.5 million. This year, the initial goal of $4.8 million will fund 6 new episodes, 6 shorts, and 18, quote, surgically enhanced classic episodes that would upgrade installments wasting away in 480p up to 1080 HD. If the show hits $6.1 million, the next season will get 9 episodes, 9 shorts, and 27 surgical operations. And if you guys want to raise $7.4 million, you'll get 12 episodes, 12 shorts, and 36 surgeries. I watched Pete Holmes' new stand-up special. It probably has a name. What is it called? Not for Everybody? I'm not doing that audience thing. I actually forgot. I am not for everyone. I was close. I'm turning into my parents. It's okay. The first third or so, Pete is a little frantic, but then he settles in. There's a great bit in the middle about marriage that really had me going. I was really feeling the special, and then I was sharing this in the Facebook group. My wife did what she always does. I don't know how she knows I'm watching a stand-up special. She'll come by and do the whole, oh, is this guy funny? Yes, that's why I was sitting on the couch laughing out loud, but I'll pause it now. What should we talk about, wife? And then we talk about some stuff, and then I hit play, and then it takes me a while to get back in. But Pete Holmes got me back in because his special is pretty good. I really enjoyed his closer as well. Pete also has some pretty good half-ass impressions. He broke into a Jerry Seinfeld. He busted into another comedian. It'll spoil the joke if I tell you who he did. And I think there was a third, but I want to hang out with Pete Holmes and just trade off half-ass impressions. I have spent some time with Pete in Miami. Very cool guy, exactly who you think he is, and I've seen him many times live. I am a big fan. And this special will make Johnny Mac's Best of 2023, and I thought I would do this live with you as I record and figure out where it goes. So right now, the number one comedy special of the year is Todd Barry's Domestic Short Hair. You'll find that on YouTube. Shane Gillis's Netflix Netflix special is a strong number 2. Then a bit of a gap down to Tom Segura, Kyle Kinane, Nate Bargatze. It's not better than any of those. Michelle Wolf, Jay McBride, Jim Jeffries, Hari Kondabolu. All right, it's better than Hari, but I don't think it's better than Jim. All right, that makes Pete Holmes the new number 9 special. I'll give you the updated list again. Number 1, Todd Barry, then Shane Gillis, Tom Segura, Kyle Kinane, Nate Bargatze, Michelle Wolf, Jay McBride, Daddy's Girls on YouTube, Jim Jeffries from Amazon in February that you forgot about. Pete Holmes, number 9. Hari Kondabolu on YouTube is number 10. Rounding out the list, Chris Rock, Jimmy O Yang, The Roast of Mr. Peanut. Look it up, trust me. Big J. Okerson, Mark Normand, Nimesh Patel, Sarah Silverman, Chris Fleming's Hell, and John Early. So we now have a top 19. I guess I'll get it to 20 and then start lopping people off the bottom. Watch out, John Early. Specials of note, not on my top list. Jim Gaffigan, Joe List, Jared Freed, Amy Schumer, John Mulaney, Louis Black, Hannah Gatsby, Mark Maron, Andrew Santino, Bert Kreischer, Greg Warren, Kevin Hart, Luanell, Beth Stelling, Joe Pera, and Zorna Garg. Not on my list. I have not seen Roseanne's special. Pitchfork did that thing where they would talk to John Mulaney about, hey, you were this age, what were you listening to? Today we'll take a look at age 25 when John Mulaney was into Jay-Z's Say Hello. Mulaney said, I wasn't doing any drugs or drinking at this point. I was still smoking cigarettes all the time, but that didn't have any effect yet. It was a nice moment in time. I didn't really have a day job. I was doing stand-up at night. I got to open for Birbiglia on the road. I got to open for the Comedians of Comedy. Life was getting really fun. I got a call to audition for SNL out of the blue. I found out 2 days before, and I knew I wasn't going to get it. They had Hader and Forte and Fred and Seth and Jason. They didn't need me. They offered a hotel for anyone auditioning, so I took it. And on my walk from the hotel to 30 Rock's audition for the show, I was listening to Say Hello from American Gangster. I saw that movie, which is only pretty good, but I heard Jay-Z watched it and became inspired to make a whole album. That's a funny thing to be like, wait, start recording. But Say Hello really psyched me up. I went to a place for the 20 minutes I was walking, listening on repeat, when I suddenly had this fake, super confident persona. I have decent self-esteem, but this was like, you're a killer. I worked myself up into a state with that song. I only got hired as a writer, but I got a job out of it. I should listen to that song again. So originally, in this section here, I was going to tell you about Pete Holmes' special, but I noticed the first half was a little short, and I wanted to go a little longer before the commercial break there. And I was also going to tell you about Matt Rife on Two Bears, One Cave, but I pulled that up because there was an actual Matt Rife news story. So it's time for awkward segue into Kitty Lang, head of comedy at United Agents, is under investigation by the top UK talent agency after social media reposts and shares highly critical of Israel as that country fights a war with Hamas. This from The Hollywood Reporter. On Tuesday morning, United Agents said on its X account, we have been made aware of social media posts by one of our senior agents this morning. These are not the views of United Agents Limited. We are conducting a full and thorough investigation into this immediately. Lang represents comedy writers and actors and sketch comedy artists. That's why I'm mentioning this. She is United's head of comedy. Some comedians you may have heard of, Catherine Ryan and Nick Mohammed. You know Nick Mohammed from Ted Lasso. That's why I'm mentioning it. Lang has taken down the posts, put out a statement. I would like to unreservedly apologize for my retweets on social media surrounding the horrendous attacks on Israel on October 7th. With hindsight, I realize how naive I've been and that much of the information on social media surrounding the conflict is unsubstantiated and hurtful. I should have taken time to consider that beforehand. This is Prison Banned Books Week, and the folks over at PEN, a literary and free expression organization, are trying to get attention for Prison Banned Books Week. Why I'm bringing this up, one of the books that is banned, Amy Schumer's memoir, The Girl with the Lower Back Tattoo, why it was flagged by Florida officials for graphic sexual content and for, quote, being a threat to the security, order, or rehabilitative objects of the correctional system or the safety of any person. Let's hit Gossip Corner. If you were in Georgetown, South Carolina, and you were having dinner at Root, Root down on Front Street in downtown Georgetown, you know the place. Bill Murray walked in. Root Restaurant on Facebook said, we were super excited to have Bill Murray stop by for dinner tonight. One of the funniest men on the planet is also one of the coolest. The restaurant told WMBF News that Bill Murray stayed until the restaurant closed and took pictures with the staff and signed autographs for them. Jordan Temple is one of Vulture's 25 comedians you should know and keep an eye on, or whatever that's called. They asked Jordan, what unscripted or reality series would you be good at? Jordan said, Survivor. I survived the public housing projects in New York City. I can survive anything. Roaches are my friends, rats are my cousins, and I've seen cats as big as lions. I'm not a lion, sorry, but my archetype is rugged loner with a pretty face. Everyone at Survivor would say, how'd you learn to survive that? I would look wistfully into the mid-distance and mutter, the 6 train. New York City humor. All right, what about your writing process? What have you learned? Jordan Temple said, when I started comedy, I think I was trying to be too clever. I was just young, which I still am. But now I think of all the ways my senses can help me develop different kinds of jokes, whether they're clever or not. Now I try to be clever in the dumbest way possible, and also dumb in the most clever way possible. I'm also big on self-encouragement. I started writing down in the middle of my stand-up sets, keep going, you're doing great, and telling the audience, there's no notes. All it says is, keep going, you're doing great. All right, what comedy hill will you die on? I love this one. Shorts. You can wear shorts on stage. I think shorts should be mandatory. In fact, the longer your set, the shorter your shorts should be. Donald Glover was way out of his time wearing those tiny shorts. Where do you think he got all his power from? People were like, ugh, why is he wearing those baby shorts? Now look at him. Normalize short shorts. Lean into your power. Love it. And that's your comedy news for today. Follow the show for free on, let's see, Spotify, Pocket Cast. If you're on an Android, you could follow it on Overcast. There's Apple Podcasts, but I'm mad at them with this new update that's killing the back catalog downloads. Apple, you are killing me. Johnny Mac's gotta eat. See you tomorrow.